Hello, friends, and welcome to Freckles and Blondie, the podcast where we try not to lose our minds while discussing and arguing about the television show Lost. I'm Randy.
I'm Tiffany.
And today we'll be discussing Season 2, Episode 9, What Kate Did. This episode originally aired on November 30th, 2005. It was directed by Paul Edwards, who will go on to direct 10 other episodes of Lost. It was written by Stephen Maida and Craig Wright, and Maida helped to co-write the episode called Adrift earlier this season, and Wright helped co-write Orientation.
I like the title of this episode. They just kind of get straight to the point.
Yeah, I think I read that they titled it that way because people kept asking what Kate did. So it's kind of like, here's what she did. Stop asking us. So, what did you think of this episode overall?
I thought it was really good. I always like Kate's backstory, so I like seeing more of that. I like finally knowing what she did, like for real what she did.
Right.
'Cause I feel like we were kind of led astray a couple times, with Tom and his death. I felt like we were led to believe that he was kind of the guy she killed. Mm-hmm. And I know we talked about this a long time ago, like probably Kate's first episode, or whenever she told Jack that this was the guy she killed when she talked about Tom.
Yeah.
I always felt like that was so misleading because this is the guy she really kills, Wayne. And I was just glad to finally see it and feel like we have this concrete thing now.
Yeah, it's nice to get what I kind of assume is the whole picture of her past, the major points.
Yeah. This is the moment. This is why she's on the run. So this is just really important to her whole story.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they didn't start off with this.
You gotta keep the suspense.
Yeah.
I didn't mind not knowing. I minded the kind of misdirect of, the man she killed.
Right.
She wasn't talking about this guy, and this guy is the one who I feel like she really did kill him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, she murdered this guy.
She murdered this guy. Tom was an accident.
Right. Exactly.
Things that we have trouble differentiating in Lost sometimes.
Yeah.
Murder, accidental death.
It's all the same.
Apparently. But yeah, and then I liked the connection with what was going on the island. I felt like her backstory played in really well to her emotional story.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's a lot of things I like in this episode. I'm not really sure some of the things pay off, but yeah, overall I think it's good. It's got some of my favorite moments in it, so.
I am sure that it does. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The things that don't pay off, are you possibly talking about the horse?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because
I thought so.
Just kind of this random thing that just walks through and it says, hey, and then it's gone forever. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about the horse. It's very, I don't know. I don't know what to think of the horse, honestly. I wrote down each time that we see it, and I was like, okay, how do I connect these three events? And it was just impossible. They don't really connect.
Right. By the time I got to the end of this episode, I was like, I don't know what this show wants me to feel about this mysterious horse that keeps popping up.
It's a lot like Sawyer's episode with the boar.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. Which is so funny, because I felt that way about, it was Confidence Man and one of Kate's other episodes where I felt like it was such a mirror episode of Sawyer's.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that we titled the podcast the sequel to Confidence Man, but I don't remember why.
Wow. I don't even remember that. That's pretty sad.
Well, we are awesome podcasters.
Yeah. Going super well, guys. All right, should we get into this episode?
We really should, because I know it's going to take us a while
Yeah,
to get through it.
I think it will. All right. We open with a shot of the beach. A very happy-looking Jin exits his tent, quickly followed by Sun. They hug, and Hurley shoots them a thumbs-up sign.
It's so cute.
It's really cute. Sun notices Saeed is digging a grave for Shannon nearby, and she looks worried. So yeah, this is cute. Sun and Jin are so happy.
I know. And Hurley's so happy for them.
Yeah, it's nice.
And in typical Lost fashion, we have to undercut it by having Saeed in the background burying Shannon.
Of course, they can't just have a nice moment to themselves.
No. Oh, it's so sad.
I know. We cut to the hatch, where Jack is tending to a delirious Sawyer. Jack comments that he heard Sawyer pull the bullet out with his bare hands, and that he needs to learn how to do that. Sawyer asks, where is she? And Jack tells him Kate went to get some food. Sawyer whispers, I love her, and Jack looks on, resigned. Yeah, this is another kind of weird thing in this episode, to me. Like, the whole Sawyer only responding to Wayne, saying these things when he's, like, not in a conscious state. It's very strange.
Yeah. Do you think right now, when he says, I love her, is he Sawyer or is he Wayne?
I mean, I don't think this is Sawyer saying this about Kate. Because first of all, I'm not really convinced that Sawyer is in love with Kate at this point. You know, I don't think he's capable of really loving anyone at this point in the show. You know what I mean? Not to, like, be down on Sawyer, but I just don't think his character's grown enough to get to that point. So, I guess it's Wayne? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, that had only occurred to me, like, just now. I've always thought it was Sawyer, and that it would be typical Sawyer behavior to love someone and not, like, want to show it to anybody, including that person, but maybe subconsciously just say it when you're basically on the brink of death. But we get so much from him in this episode that is Wayne. However, all those times Kate is talking to him. So because this is Jack is why I feel like it might be Sawyer.
Yeah, I don't know. That's possible. I always just write it off as, like, a weird fever dream he's having. He doesn't even know Jack is there. He doesn't know. He's not talking about Kate. He's talking about someone completely different. Because I just don't think he loves her at this point. I really don't.
I don't know. I don't think we've gotten enough in the show to tell. But I don't think we've gotten anything to show that he would love anyone else.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like it would be such a stretch at this point, considering that the last 8 episodes they've been apart.
But Randy, absence makes the heart go fonder.
Don't make me vomit, Tiffany. Don't start with me, okay?
It seems to be the case for Kate as well, okay?
No.
No.
I do not accept this.
It's gonna be a long episode.
Yeah, I know. Again, I'm not trying to be down on Sawyer here when I say that he's not capable of loving anyone.
The reason this is going to be a long episode is because I feel like we're both just going to interpret this so completely differently.
Yeah, we are.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, Randy is not seeing it like this. I know she's not.
Right. Right. And the way I see it, like, I feel so convinced that it's that way. I'm just like, Tiffany's not going to like this.
But regardless, Jack takes it pretty well.
Poor Jack. I feel so bad for him in this episode. It's just...
Yeah, he seems really confused.
Yeah. It's just sad.
Especially, like, on the back of last week where...
I know.
He kind of saw it in action, their connection, and it's just not a fun thing to see when you're in love with someone.
Exactly. And again, Kate does not feel as strongly about Jack as Jack does about Kate, so...
Nope. Kate is definitely going through something.
Yeah. Kate is up in a tree picking some fruit. She seems to be tired and slips coming down. On the ground, Kate turns around to find a black horse just chilling in the jungle. When she goes toward it, the horse runs away, and we cut to a flashback. Kate's sitting on a front porch playing with a lighter. A man drives up, obviously drunk. He grabs her, and Kate takes him inside to put him to bed. She takes off his shoes, and he tells her she's beautiful. He asks if she's going to take his pants off and grabs her arm, but Kate leaves. As she's driving away on her motorcycle, the house blows up behind her, and we cut to the title scene. What an opening.
Seriously, it's a really good opening.
Yeah, it is really good.
Do you remember the first time you saw this? Like, did this surprise you?
Yeah. Again, it's done really well. The way that shot lingers on the house for so long. You're like, why are we just staring at this house? And then it blows up.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
It is. And I remember when I saw it, It shocked me that Kate really did kill somebody. Because of season 1, where I felt like I was kind of led to think that it was just Tom. And to see that it wasn't, and that, you know, she really is guilty of the crime she's on the run for. Like, we can't play around with maybe she's innocent. I was like, oh wow, she really is a murderer.
Yeah, they kind of led us to believe that in Born to Run. I think when she's giving that speech on the beach after Sawyer kind of exposes her. And she's like, yeah, whatever they say I did or didn't do, like whatever that is, I am going to jail. So, yeah, the way she worded it in that episode was kind of vague.
Yeah, she's been adamant that she's innocent. And we see here that she's clearly not. And we've seen her lie before. So it's not out of character for her to do that. But it is kind of shocking because in your head, you're still a little like, oh, maybe she didn't do it.
Right.
And now we know she did.
Yep, we do. Don't really feel too bad for that guy, but yeah, she definitely murdered him.
Yeah, I can't say I feel super bad for him, but I'm definitely opposed to this action.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to support you blowing people up, Kate, but I get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to support or not support it. You do you. It's not my decision to make, so.
You're not going to come down on either side on this?
I mean, I will later on, but like, if I was in a room with Kate, I'd be like, you know, you were a victim here. I'm not going to come down on you for this.
Interesting. Do you think that Wayne sexually abused Kate? We get so many sexual comments from him in this scene.
Yeah.
And, you know, the marshal kind of brings it up later. And Kate is adamant that he never touches her. But could she be lying?
I mean, she could be. Because he's all over her in this scene. So when I watched this first scene, I was convinced that he did sexually abuse her.
Yeah.
But the way she tells the marshal, like, he never touched me, the way she says that is so, like, how dare you even suggest such a thing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know either. I feel like we can't be sure either way, but I think probably not. I think that if that had really happened to her, we would have been explicit about it, because that would be huge.
Yeah.
And we talk later in the episode about the triggering event, the reason that she kills him.
Right.
And it's not sexual abuse. Like, that's clearly not the triggering event. So right. I think because of that, we can dismiss it, but I don't know. It's still possible.
And even it toes the line with sexual abuse. Like, he's like awful to her, so.
Yeah. Ugh. He's gross.
Yeah, he's the worst. Another father that's just terrible. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Coming back, Kate walks into a diner. Her mom is working and pours her some coffee, even though Kate asked for beer. We find out Kate is 24. She asks her mom about her injured wrist, and her mom makes up some story about a shelf in the kitchen. Kate gives her mom some papers. She took out an insurance policy on the house in her mother's name. Her mom asks her what did she do and if Wayne knows about this. Kate doesn't answer. She leaves after telling her mom, "I took care of you."
Yeah, with this, I always wonder, is there such thing as, like, doing the wrong thing for the right reasons? Because I feel like this would be an example of that, if such a thing is possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible.
If you see, like, your mom being hurt all the time, if you are possibly being hurt, or those are good reasons. Those are really good reasons. But it's still the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, this has obviously been going on, like you said, for a really long time, and she's just had enough, it seems like. So
yeah. Yep. Well, we'll see later why she's had enough.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
So many of these characters are just victims of the most unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, they're all so tragic. Kate comes back to the hatch with the food. When Jack asks her if she's okay, she says she's just tired. According to Jack, Sawyer's fever is still high, and he can't tell if the antibiotics are still working. He tells Kate they'll be burying Shannon soon, and she'd better head to the beach. But Kate insists that she'll look after Sawyer. She says Jack should be at the funeral, and Jack goes, reminding her to look after the button.
Jack is so much more likable when he thinks Kate loves Sawyer.
I'm sorry. Please unpack that statement. What do you mean?
I just find him, like, so much nicer in this episode than he's been. Like,
it's 'cause he's so concerned about Kate. He, like, knows she's not okay. It's really sweet.
Yeah, no, it is. I am agreeing. He's, like, in this scene, like, he keeps asking her if she's okay.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, all the stuff that I've wanted him to be like in the past, and he just wasn't quite like that. And I really like seeing it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like the catalyst for this sudden affection towards her is seeing these feelings between her and Sawyer.
What, being nicer? I don't think that's fair at all. I feel like so far this season, he's been very nice to her. They haven't had any, like, explosive arguments that they had back in season 1.
Yeah, you're right. This season hasn't really been much. There hasn't been a lot of conflict with them. I guess I'm just thinking of, like, the latter half of season 1. Because it was a long time. I just felt like there was so much tension between them for most of season 1. Like, they started off great, and then it was just like, we just went downhill. And now I feel like, you know, they were bonding again, kind of like reconnecting at the beginning of season 1, and now I feel like they're actually connecting in a real way. I know you feel like they've been connected the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
I kind of interpret it a little differently, but yeah, I can see your point.
I just feel like that scene in the last episode was maybe like a catalyst where he just felt like, okay, maybe I need to be a little more explicit with my feelings.
Possibly, but he's always cared about her well-being, so that's kind of just how I read this.
Yeah.
He's not really putting himself out there. Like, he's not, like, aggressively flirting with her like he has been previously, so.
No.
He just seems so resigned and sad, like.
He does,
oh,
and
God.
I just find him so much more likable in this episode, and I don't know why.
I'm glad for that.
Maybe it's not what I'm saying. Maybe there's something else.
Yeah. Ana Lucia is setting up her tent when Echo approaches. He says he's going to go to the funeral, but Ana Lucia doesn't think she'll make it. He says most of the people realize that Shannon's death was an accident, but Anna Lucia stays silent. And this is just, like, really awkward.
Yeah, I don't blame her one bit for not going. That would be incredibly awkward.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm just thinking, like, how is she supposed to live in this community, you know, with all these people after what happened? It's gonna be so hard.
That's why you ask questions first, shoot later.
Okay. At the funeral, a devastated-looking Saeed tells everyone that he and Shannon were strangers, and they wouldn't have met if not for the plane crash. He says he loved her, but can't take any more and walks away. Jack sprinkles some dirt over Shannon's body and says, "May she rest in peace," and everyone follows his lead. This is heartbreaking.
God, yes it is. It's so sad. It's so sad to watch Saeed, someone so rational, be so emotional.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot to get someone like him to this point, and it's devastating.
Yeah, he looks absolutely destroyed. It's hard to watch. And also, I feel like we were talking a few episodes ago about how right before Shannon died, when Saeed told her that he loved her, I didn't really believe it. I feel like when he says it in this scene, I finally believe it. Like, he just looks so distraught.
This is what it takes to believe, Randy?
I guess. I'm sorry, I didn't know what the price would be. But yeah, when he says it, I'm like, okay, I believe you.
Yeah, I mean, he has no reason to lie right now, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm. In the hatch, Kate puts on a record and prepares some fruit for Sawyer.
Patsy Cline!
Yes! I'm so glad you're pointing out when we're hearing Patsy Cline with Kate, because I never noticed that before.
It's her theme.
It's so crazy. Sawyer's still out of it, but Kate tells him she saw a horse earlier. That's what she gets for not sleeping. Sawyer starts to mumble something under his breath, and Kate comes closer to make it out. Suddenly, Sawyer opens his eyes and grabs Kate by the throat. He yells, "Why did you kill me?" And the scene cuts away. And yeah, that escalated really quickly.
Yeah, super quickly. This scene is so weird.
I always just write this off as he's having some weird fever dream and thinks Kate is someone else, but I don't know.
But I feel like he's so specific, and she interprets it as Wayne so clearly that he kind of has to be Wayne in that unexplainable way the island has of doing stuff like this.
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense for Christian Shepherd to be walking around in the jungle, but he is, so.
Oh, this show.
So I feel like it has to be him, and I don't know if that's a result of Kate being there or something else.
Whenever I watch this scene, it always reminds me of when the marshal woke up and grabbed Kate back in season 1, started choking her.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not really the same thing, but it's like...
No, but it is similar, almost the exact same reaction, and it's both to Kate.
Yeah, it's like, how many times does Kate have to go through this?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Jack and Luck arrive back at the hatch, only to find Sawyer on the floor, Kate missing, and time's almost up on the button. Locke puts in the numbers with seconds to spare. They put Sawyer back on the bed and wonder where Kate went.
I can't believe Kate was so upset she just left Sawyer on the dang floor.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're lucky they didn't get back a few minutes later. Like, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, they're lucky he didn't, like, suffocate on the ground.
Yeah.
God.
Kate's clearly going through something significant.
Yes.
Kate's walking through the jungle when Charlie finds her. He tells her that a few of the tailies came to the funeral. Not Anna Lucia, though, because that would have been really awkward. Kate hasn't been listening to a word he said. She tells Charlie she saw a horse earlier. Charlie guesses it could be possible, what with the polar bears and the monsters on the island. Kate walks away, and we cut to a flashback.
It's a little scene, but this is the Charlie that I like.
I know.
He's just cute and funny.
Yeah.
He's like, it sounds like the tailies went kind of bloody Lord of the Flies out there.
Exactly. Just this little commentary, and then of course he's like, you're not listening to anything I'm saying, are you, Kate?
Yeah. Which has happened to him before. Kate
I
is
know.
never listening to Charlie.
I know. It's always so funny. At a bus station, Kate's buying a ticket to Tallahassee. A man in line behind her starts to make conversation. Turns out it's her old pal, the U.S. Marshal. He grabs her and tells her not to run, but she punches him and tries to get away anyway. He handcuffs her and says she's being arrested for murder. Apparently, her mother gave her up. Damn, that's so cold of her mother to do that.
Yeah, it really is. Ugh. Could you do that? Like, okay, pretend you're Kate's mom. Pretend you love Wayne. Like, you love him, even though he's a bad guy and you know he's a bad guy. You love him. And your daughter kills him. What do you do?
That's so hard. I mean, me personally, I don't think I would give her up.
Yeah.
Especially the way Kate said it in their last scene together, like, I took care of you, I'm taking care of you.
Yeah.
Like, Kate's clearly doing this, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is for her mom, so she can get out of this abusive relationship that she's clearly never going to be able to get out of herself, so.
Yeah, I don't think I would give her up either.
Really?
I know that would be, like, technically the right thing to do, but
Mm-hmm.
I would not do that. I just don't think I could. I think I could, like, personally cut her out of my life if I was that upset, you know?
Yeah.
And just, like, decide not to interact with her anymore. But, yeah, that's very harsh, because you know, like, you're basically sentencing your kid to death. Not to death, to life in jail.
Right, yeah, for the rest of her life, so. It's hard. Charlie's playing guitar on the beach when Jack approaches, asking if he's seen Kate. He tells him about the weird conversation they had about horses, and says she was heading back to the caves. Charlie asks if everything's okay, and Jack assures him everything is fine. I mean, it's not, but whatever.
It's super not. And
Yeah.
Charlie knows it. And this is why Charlie feels disrespected, because people don't tell him what's going on. They're just like, it's fine, Charlie, and they walk away.
I know, and Charlie tries to have conversations with them, and they don't listen. Like, I get it, Charlie. I get your frustration.
I understand.
Yeah. In the hatch, Locke finally frees Jin from the handcuff he's been wearing. Michael is also there, checking out the hatch. He asks Locke what's up with the blast doors. In case of an explosion, they'll come down from the ceiling. Locke says Desmond didn't tell him about those, but he did leave the orientation video. Echo appears and says he'd also like to watch the video. Yeah, this is always really funny to me that Michael's like, didn't you know about these blast doors on your precious, precious hatch? And Locke's like, no, I've just been pushing this button. I didn't check out any part of this hatch.
I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, that's interesting.
Exactly. It's like, what a nice little detail you pointed out, Michael.
Yeah, what's amazing is that, like, Saeed didn't point that out.
Yeah. Saeed should have noticed that, right?
Yeah. He probably did. He just didn't tell anyone. He didn't care enough to, like, he's like, Locke doesn't care. It's fine.
Right.
Locke, like, just letting whoever wants to see anything do whatever they want. He's just like, he's so liberal with all the information, you know? Anyone who asks him anything, he's gonna tell them.
Yeah,
He's
it's
just
so
like,
weird.
sure, let's watch the orientation video. Yeah, the more the merrier.
Exactly.
You know, like, it's like this is his home, and he's just welcoming everyone
Yeah.
into it.
He's been down there for what, a couple of weeks? It's like, yeah, take a look around. Don't break anything. It's so weird.
Enjoy my lovely hatch.
Exactly. In the trees, Jack finds Kate sitting on a log. He asks her what the hell happened, and she doesn't have an answer, saying she's sorry she's not as perfect or good as Jack. She starts to walk away, but Jack hugs her and tells her it's going to be okay. This place is driving me crazy, she tells Jack. Kate kisses him. Jack seems surprised at first, but eventually kisses her back. They break apart, and Kate looks regretful. She does what she always does and runs away, even though Jack calls her name.
You sound so mad at her.
I mean, it's just kind of bittersweet for me. This moment I've been waiting for since literally episode 1, season 1 of the show.
Yeah.
And she runs away.
Yeah, she runs away and she doesn't look happy.
Yeah, I still remember the first time I saw this scene in this episode. I was so happy. I lost my mind.
And now, still happy or more just bittersweet?
No, it still makes me so happy because I love them so much, but
it does kind of feel like a beginning.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a really, really good scene.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like what she says to him. It's just such a complicated scene. That's what I like about it.
It is.
You know, it's hard to tell exactly what she's feeling, and she's like crying and kind of yelling at him, and she's like, I'm sorry I'm not as perfect as you, that I'm not as good. And it's like, that's what's on her mind when she kisses him. That's just so weird. Like, I always see this as her wanting to be as good as Jack, and so like kissing him in like this way that will make her better.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I could see why you would see it that way.
Like, she's just so confused and, you know, talking about how this place is driving her crazy, and it's like she's just looking for a lifeline, and she sees Jack, who is like the good guy, so he can help her.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's just they have such a strong connection to each other, or at least I think they do. And they've had it for such a long time. Even though they've been through some not so great times, I feel like after, you know, she tells him, I'm sorry I'm not as perfect as you, I'm sorry I'm not as good, and then he like hugs her and comforts her. She's just like, I feel like she's just so in that moment and just so connected with him and like so grateful that he's there, and he's like, you know, she's losing her mind. So yeah, it's a lot of different things that are going on.
Yeah, and it could be like a relief, you know, like her saying that could be, you know, all the bad stuff that's happened between them. Because all the bad stuff has really been them talking about Kate's past and how she's not trustworthy and how she lies to him and, you know, stuff like that. So for her to say, I'm sorry I'm not perfect, that I'm not as good as you, she could be referencing that, and then he's comforting her, like, in sort of a forgiving way, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, he does, because, like, Jack has every right to be mad in this scene. Like, Kate is clearly fine. Sawyer could have re-injured himself, and Kate volunteered to look after Sawyer, so, you know, he could have just been angry, but he, you know, he tells her he gets it. Oh, God, I couldn't have written this scene any better myself. Only Kate would not have run away at the end.
Well, when she runs away, it adds to the depth that is Kate, because it's not that simple for her.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right after they kiss, that look she has on her face, to me it seems like she's afraid that she's ruined things between them. Because, like, even though they've been flirting a lot recently, they're, like, always super careful with each other. So I just feel like she's looking at him like, God, I've just ruined everything.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Like, when you said that she's regretful, like, I feel like she looks regretful because, you know, she wasn't ready to kiss him.
Maybe there is some of that.
She doesn't seem to love him yet, so maybe she just felt like this wasn't right, and that she was just, in the moment, she was emotional and needy, and she doesn't want to be that way.
Yeah, it's probably some of that. I'm just like, you guys should be married already. Like, just do it, Kate. Just do it. But yeah.
I don't know why he hasn't proposed by now.
Exactly. You guys should have your own tent. It should be done already. But again, this is one of those scenes where I've watched this scene so many times, like a disgusting amount of time. So I know it really well. But yeah, it was interesting watching it from this perspective, knowing we were going to discuss it.
Yeah, it's completely different to watch things knowing that you're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Somewhat critically.
It is. Like, I can't just fall on the floor and cry in happiness. I've got to, like, analyze what's going on.
I know. I feel like that all the time. I'm like, okay, I know Sawyer has no shirt on, but I need to focus here.
Oh, so hard.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But we persevere for the sake of our listeners.
You guys, it's so hard. You should be so proud of us.
I know. We have to go back and rewatch these scenes over and over. It's just so hard.
In the hatch, the orientation video is just finishing. Michael asks Locke if they've really been pushing the button every 2 hours since they got down here. Locke confirms, saying everyone takes shifts. Michael doesn't think the video was as self-explanatory as Locke. He wonders about the missing parts. Locke asks Echo what he thinks of the film, but he stays silent and walks away.
I can't believe that Locke would be like, oh, there's just some missing pieces. I don't think it's anything important. Like, what?
I know. I can, and that's part of what frustrates me about Locke. He's just so la-di-da. We're pushing the button. Like, everything's fine. Blast doors? No. What? Like...
I guess I've just seen him, like, so curious about things that, like, that would strike you as odd that there's, like, weird stuff in the video.
Yeah. He just has this, like, feeling about the hatch. The way he talks about it. It's like, it's fine. I don't need details about any of this.
Yeah. He's just very come what may about it.
Yeah.
Which I guess you would be if you just believe in fate and destiny.
I mean, sure. Also, I still have a hard time believing that everyone is just on board with pushing this button. Like, the way he's like, yeah, we're all taking shifts, it's fine. No one asked any questions. Like, no one asked any questions? All, like, 40 of you are fine with this? I would need more of an explanation when I got down there. I'd be like, what is really happening here?
Yeah. He just tells them to watch the video and ignore the missing pieces.
Yeah. Ignore the part about the incident. It's not a big deal. Kate is sitting by Shannon's grave when Saeed approaches. He puts a necklace on the cross marking her gravesite. Kate apologizes for missing the funeral. She had to take care of Sawyer. She tells Saeed she thinks she's going crazy and asks if he believes in ghosts. Saeed says he saw Walt in the jungle before Shannon was killed. He asks her if this makes him crazy and walks away. The whole time I'm watching this scene and Kate's asking Saeed about if she's going crazy, I'm like, Saeed does not have time for your issues right now, Kate. He's going through something really awful. Like,
I know, and I always feel like he sounds a little jealous almost when she's like, I'm sorry, I had to be with Sawyer, and he's like, so why aren't you with Sawyer now? Like, the way he says it, I'm just like, he wishes he could be with Shannon right now. And, yeah, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's got bigger problems.
Exactly. It's like, I know, Kate, you're going through something, Kate, but don't talk to Saeed about it, okay? Now it's not the time.
Yeah, but it is nice that Kate is, like, here to, you know, pay her respects to Shannon.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, Saeed would be here too. Because he hasn't left.
Poor Saeed. Oh, so sad. In a flashback, Kate's in a car with the marshal in handcuffs. It's raining. He asks Kate why she decided to kill Wayne now. She doesn't have a previous record, and she's never been in trouble before. He tells her the jury back in Iowa will see right through the supposed gas leak that killed Wayne. Kate tells him he doesn't know anything about her, but he retells her tragic story. Mom remarries a guy who physically abuses her, but the mom refuses to leave him and constantly defends his behavior. The marshal again asks her why she decided to kill him now. Did Wayne ever come knocking on Kate's door? Kate says he never touched her. A black horse suddenly walks in front of the car. The marshal swerves and hits a tree. Kate grabs the keys and undoes her handcuffs. She hits the marshal, throws him from the car, and drives off with one last look at the mysterious black horse.
So the black horse saves her.
Yeah.
The horse's presence is why she can escape from the marshal.
Mm-hmm.
The first time we saw the horse was when she was gathering food for Sawyer. I cannot for the life of me connect these events.
There is no connection. It's just not. Like, if the horse had saved her in some way on the island, that would be one thing. But it just appears.
Yeah.
Walks
You're
away.
right. I would have liked to save her, somehow.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
That would have been really cool.
Ugh, it's so weird.
Yeah. I thought watching this episode this time for the podcast, I would suddenly have some revelation about the horse, but it didn't happen. So
no, and I looked up black horse symbolism because that just seems like something that would have a strong symbolic meaning attached to it.
Yeah.
And I just found so many various things that I couldn't really pick one.
Yeah.
It seems like there's so many different interpretations of what a black horse symbolizes. But I found one that I liked, but I felt like I was cherry picking because there were so many. I could have chosen whatever I wanted,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But this one that I liked said, a black horse in a dream could represent a part of the shadow self or a part of your personality that you usually prefer to keep hidden. Instinctual urges operating in the dark recess of your mind, the unknown, what is mysterious. That felt very Lost-like to me.
Yeah, it does.
Especially, instinctual urges in the dark recess of your mind. That feels very much like Kate to me because she always has that kind of self-preservation instinct.
Yeah.
And
exactly, that instinct to run from things.
The instinct to run or the instinct to kill Wayne.
Yeah.
These are dark things. I mean, running's not necessarily dark, but there's a dark place in her. And
yeah.
I thought that was cool, but again, when there's a million variations of what a black horse could mean, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a symbolic thing that Lost uses and forgets about, so.
Yep, horses and boars.
Yeah. In the hatch, Locke is showing Michael how the hatch computer works. It won't allow you to input anything until the alarm sounds. Michael says he's going to check out the hatch hardware. Locke finds Echo sitting at a table. He tells Locke he has something he should see. Echo tells him a biblical story about Josiah, who was the king of Judah. The temple where the people worshipped was in ruin, and they were worshipping false gods. Josiah ordered the temple to be rebuilt and wanted gold given to the workers, but the secretary found a book instead. It was a copy of the Old Testament, the Book of Law. Josiah rebuilt the temple using that ancient book. Echo pulls out the Bible he found in the other hatch. As Locke opens it, he finds a complete copy of the orientation video. So this scene is great.
Yes. Echo and Locke sitting and talking is just everything you want it to be.
Yes. Again, I would watch an hour of them sitting and talking.
Yep, definitely. And it's nice to see somebody drop a wisdom bomb on Locke for once.
Yes!
Like, he finally gets to experience it himself.
Exactly. Locke is always doing this exact same thing, starting off with some seemingly unrelated story and then bringing it around to this profound conclusion. So
Yes, it's so great.
yeah.
Such a strange story for him to tell. Like,
It is a strange story. I kind of tried to look into it to see if there's anything else I could kind of connect it with, but I couldn't really find anything.
I'm just a little confused by Echo in this episode because later he's going to tell Locke, don't confuse coincidence with fate.
Mm-hmm.
And yet everything he's saying here feels so like, it feels like fate, you know?
Yeah, it does. It feels like when he's handing Locke this Bible, he's kind of saying, like, through the story, use this book to rebuild this temple, aka the hatch that we're sitting in. You know, it's
like,
strange.
hey, by the way, the one, like, the little missing pieces you needed, I happen to have those. And they are literally wrapped in the Bible.
Right.
Like, how can Echo not see that as divine intervention when he is such a man of faith?
Right.
It's so confusing. I'm not sure exactly where Echo is on all this.
Yeah, you're right. It is a little strange. Because, yeah, there was no reason for Echo to, you know, like Locke says later, like, they crashed on opposite sides of the island, and Echo found another hatch, and they found the box, and he found the Bible, and he carried it all the way over. And, you know, there was, like, no reason for any of that to really happen. So
Yeah, and he didn't tell anyone about it.
Right.
I don't know exactly what to make about it.
Well, next week's is Echo's episode, so maybe we'll get more insight next week.
Oh, good. Oh, that's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Jack is chopping wood because dude is frustrated and confused. I feel you, Jack. Hurley walks over and asks who's taking care of Sawyer. Jack replies that Sun is. Hurley asks if Jack is mad at Sawyer since Sawyer used to come and chop wood, and now the positions have switched. Jack says he isn't mad at anyone. Poor Jack.
Yeah. I think this is so interesting. Okay. You're gonna disagree with me on this. I'm just gonna warn you.
Here we go.
Alright, so Hurley says that this is transference.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and that is a psychological phenomenon in which an individual redirects emotions and feelings, often unconsciously, from one person to another. So, Hurley says that Jack is stepping into Sawyer's role because he's, like, chopping wood, which apparently was Sawyer's job on the island, which I never knew, but apparently it was.
Yeah, he chops wood twice, and that's his official job. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's just what Sawyer does now. But, so I thought that this could be brought up in this episode because Kate is transferring her feelings for Sawyer towards Jack. And that maybe Jack on some level knows that that is happening, and that is why he is down here being Sawyer, like,
no,
chopping up the wood.
No.
I knew you would absolutely hate that theory.
I
but
don't agree.
It fits really, really well.
I mean, but she has feelings for both of them. Like,
I know, I totally agree. She has feelings for both of them. But I think right now Jack sees her having feelings for Sawyer, and he's jealous of Sawyer, so he could interpret it that way.
I mean, I guess, but they just had this, like, moment together.
Yeah, so he should be really happy. Like, if he really thought, oh, Kate cares about me too, he'd be happy, but he's not. He's mad, and I think he's mad because he thinks Kate cares about Sawyer, not him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I wouldn't say, I don't think he's mad in this scene. I think he's just frustrated and super confused.
But frustrated why?
Because Kate ran away. And she obviously doesn't feel as strongly about him as he feels about her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I thought that theory, I was like, oh, Randy will be so mad if I say that.
Yeah, it's a good theory. It's incorrect, but no, I'm just kidding.
This is why I love you, Randy.
Oh, God.
It is also really funny to just watch Hurley psychoanalyze Jack.
Yeah, I love Hurley's little interactions with people. And he just tells them what's going on.
Rose's husband is white. Who would have thought that?
Oh, Hurley. Hurley's the best.
You just love him.
Oh, so great. Sun is sitting with Sawyer when Kate returns to the hatch. She asks if Sawyer said anything, and Sun replies no. Sun asks Kate to watch him, and she leaves. In a flashback, Kate walks into an army recruiting office. She talks with her dad, Sergeant Sam Austin. Apparently, while making a scrapbook a few months ago, she discovered that Wayne was her real father. Sam says he didn't tell her because he knew Kate would kill Wayne, and her mother loved him. Kate asks why Sam didn't kill him, and he replies he doesn't have murder in his heart. Sam agrees to give Kate an hour before he calls the police. They hug, and Kate leaves. So, this is so sad.
Yes, it is.
It's such a great scene between the two of them. The actor who plays, I guess, her dad but not dad is really good.
Yeah, her dad but not dad.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call him.
I don't either. Like her stepdad, I guess.
We're gonna call him her dad.
Yeah.
For Kate's benefit.
Yeah, she calls him dad when she leaves.
Yeah. She thinks of him as her dad. So.
Yeah.
This is the scene that to me really establishes that what Kate did was wrong. It was murder. Because her dad felt all these things too. He couldn't believe that Diane loved Wayne either. And he didn't want her to be with him. But he let it be because she loved him. And he made the right choices, basically. And Kate didn't. And it's weird that he knew she would do that.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because it's different. I mean, like, Kate is directly related to Wayne. Like, he's her father. So, the fact that she spent the first 24 years of her life believing that Sam was her father, only to find out it was Wayne, like, I don't know. This scene makes me really feel for her and the decision she made to kill him.
Oh, I feel for her completely. But, I mean, would you have had a better life knowing that this was your biological father? Or would you have had a better life with an actually good dad who wasn't biologically your father? Because it seems like they have a pretty good relationship in this scene. So, you know, if he was just completely out of the picture, she would just be stuck with her mom and Wayne, and that feels like that would have been way worse.
Yeah, that's true. I wish they had told her that Wayne was her father a lot earlier. I feel like maybe if they had told her at a certain age, she would have been able to accept it a little bit more and not decide to do something so drastic as murder him. Maybe? I don't know. That might not be true.
I don't know. I think it's so sad how she asks why he didn't kill him, and he tells her, because I don't have murder in my heart.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like, seeing that in your child and knowing that they were capable of it. Like, how did he know that about Kate? She seems like a very normal, well-adjusted person.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he saw the way they interacted. Maybe, you know, he obviously saw the way that Wayne treated her mom. So it's just so complicated.
It is. And, like, if he really saw that in her and knew that she would do this, all the more reason to not tell her, you know? Because if you know she's going to react this way, you can't tell her.
Right.
Because she will kill him, and then that guy is dead, and Diane is devastated, and their whole family is just ruined.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I mean, he had to have figured that she would find out eventually. Whether it was now when she was 24 or maybe in 20 years after her mom died and she was looking through old documents. Like, I mean, if I was Sam and I was looking at the situation, I would be like, there's no way she's not going to find this information out eventually. And the longer it is, the worse it's going to be, you know? I don't know.
And then you have to wonder why her mom never told her.
Yeah. Gosh.
Like, was it for this same reason? Did she know Kate would act this way?
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, I wish we had had another scene with her mom to really know like what she was thinking about all this.
Yeah. Just in general, I would have liked to see more with Kate and her mom.
Yeah, definitely.
We get so few interactions between the two of them, and their relationship is so important.
Yeah, that's definitely a missed opportunity.
I mean, it's nice to see her with her dad, her fake dad. But
yeah.
I don't know if it's as important as her relationship with her mom. It's just nice to see that she had like a good male role model in her life at least, and he seems like a nice guy, and he like hugs her and tells her he'll give her an hour before he calls the police. So I guess he's kind of looking out for her.
So nice. It just kind of kills me, like, if that's the last time they saw each other, which I don't know if it is or was. It's so sad.
And then he thinks she's dead in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Oh, guy.
God.
Can you imagine being him? Like, first your wife leaves you for Wayne of all people.
Yeah.
And then this happens. Ugh. I hope he has a nice, lovely family somewhere.
Yeah. I know. Back in the hatch, Kate asks Sawyer if she can hear him. She gets no response, so she starts talking to Wayne. She says she's probably crazy and that she killed him not because of the way he looked at her or the fact that he beat her mother. It was because she hated that he was a part of her, and that meant she would never have anything good. Every time she looks at Sawyer or feels anything for him, she sees Wayne, and it makes her sick. Sawyer suddenly wakes up and asks who the hell Wayne is. Looking at his surroundings, he asks if they've been saved, but Kate tells him not yet. When I watched this scene, this felt so significant to me. To me, this is like such a statement on why Kate and Sawyer are never going to work no matter what they feel for each other. They're too similar, like their backgrounds are just too close. And if Sawyer's only ever going to remind her of like this dark, very dark part of her past and the hatred she felt toward Wayne, the murder she committed, like they're just never going to make it in the long run. You know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I can totally see that. It's just so hard. I mean, it's just like she sees like Sawyer is bad. He's the one she's not supposed to care about, but she does. And I see her frustration. I feel like she's frustrated that she's following in her mom's footsteps, sort of. Yeah. Where she's loving this guy who she doesn't think she should love. And, you know, she wants to love Jack because he's the good guy and he's the one she should love. But she doesn't. Well, I'm not saying, okay, maybe she doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
or
she
maybe
doesn't.
She does, but
Whoa.
That's not what I mean. But she doesn't feel for him the way she's feeling about Sawyer right now. And I think she wants to. I think her head says you should be with Jack. And her heart right now, says she should be with Sawyer. And she's just frustrated by that because she doesn't want that to be the case. She doesn't want to be like her mom and do something stupid. Like she thinks what her mom was doing was stupid. And so, yeah, that's how I interpret that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can say she feels stronger about Sawyer than about Jack at this point. I feel like she feels different things for both of them and she's just so confused. I don't know, but after watching this scene, like, to me, this scene is like the end of Sawyer and Kate. Like, that should no longer be a thing. Ever. Because it's so clear that it's just, I mean, even if Sawyer, like, woke up as a different person, like, it's still not gonna change what she feels when she looks at him or what she knows about his past. It's just never, ever, ever going to work. So, like, everything we get about them going on is only gonna make me more angry because of this.
I mean, I would agree with you if I thought people couldn't change their minds. I think you're totally right under the assumption that she will always think of Wayne when she looks at Sawyer. I don't know if that is certainly the case, but
like,
I
how
see
can
what
it
you
not be
mean.
though?
Because I think her opinion of Sawyer can change. Her opinion of Wayne is fixed, but Sawyer is a changeable thing in her life.
Yeah, but I feel like she's always just gonna associate those two people together, even if Sawyer makes some significant changes. And I mean,
Maybe.
I don't know. I watched this scene and I, like, almost threw something at my TV. I was like, well, how are they a thing going on? What is this? This is the thesis statement. No. Goodbye. They're done.
No, I mean, if I'm writing a paper and I'm trying to explain why Kate should be with Jack, this is the scene.
God, this is the scene.
It is the scene. It's the scene for why she should be with Jack, but I think it's also the scene that says she cares about Sawyer.
But she also cares about Jack. Like, they had that scene earlier, which I don't think is any less significant.
The scene where they kiss?
Yeah. Like...
Yeah, the scene where she kisses him and looks regretful and runs away. Like, it's not the most perfect kiss.
I mean, yeah, but... I don't know.
I don't remember if I've said this before on the podcast or not, but I feel like the Kate, Sawyer, Jack love triangle is so effective and so interesting because it's really about Kate and her trying to figure out who she is. It's like such an identity crisis for her.
Yeah.
And I think as she sees herself certain ways, she gravitates towards one of these guys or the other. And that changes throughout the show. And she gets so much criticism for, like, her back and forthness with Jack and Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's this confusion in her head on who she is. She thinks she's bad. And she thinks that because Wayne is her father, she's a bad person. And, you know, just like Sawyer feels that way too. He feels like he's a bad person.
Yeah, they're so similar. They're too similar.
Yeah, they've got this, like, thing in them, and they're just trying to, like, become better people. And in doing that, you know, I feel like their relationships change because of it. You know, as Kate grows into, like, who she really is, who she loves changes. So what I hate is when people say Kate leads them both on, because I don't think she's doing that. I think she is genuinely confused herself, and she doesn't know where she belongs.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. I think she is confused. I just feel like even if Sawyer changes, it's just still never going to amount to anything significant between them.
Yeah. And it might not, but I think it's possible at this point.
No, it's not though, because she's always going to associate him with the murder of her father and the hatred that she feels.
But that's just what
him.
she thinks right now, and she changes her mind so often.
But like even 10 years down the road, if they're both completely made some significant changes, like that was such a big part of her life, making that decision to murder him. Like it's never going to go away completely. So
no, definitely not. But Sawyer isn't actually attached to that. She just feels like he is right now. I don't know if she's even really connecting Sawyer to Wayne so much as the choice to, like, love somebody who you shouldn't love.
I mean, I disagree. I mean, she specifically says every time she looks at Sawyer or feels anything for him, she sees Wayne and it makes her sick.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's not something you can just... That's not something that's ever going to go away.
Maybe not.
No, definitely not. Like, we're done. That's it. Goodbye. Like, I'm trying to imagine if Sawyer fell in love with someone who reminded him of, you know, of James, the guy who, like, conned his family and, like, resulted in his father shooting his mother. Like, I feel like even if he went through some significant changes, he couldn't, like, have a lasting relationship with that person because he would always associate with her with, like, one of the most horrible things in his life that kind of shaped him.
Maybe that's why he loves Kate, because she definitely cons people.
He doesn't love her, and just...
He totally loves her.
No,
you gotta give it up, Randy.
No, he doesn't. He does not love her at this point. He told
Jack in this episode that he loves her.
He was unconscious, and again, I am so convinced that at this point, he is not capable of loving anyone. His character is not
horrible.
No, I'm not saying that to, like, rag on him. He has made some significant changes since the beginning of season 1, where he was, in my opinion, just terrible all the time. But he's still, like, so hung up on his past and punishing himself. I think he's still kind of in that place. Like, he's not in, like, any right mind to, like, love anyone, I think. So yeah. Stop saying it. It's making me sad.
I think I should keep saying that for sure.
It's not true. It might be true in the future, but right now I just can't see that.
I completely see your point, Randy. I do.
I don't know. I watched this scene, which I had completely forgotten had even taken place, and I was like, okay, well, what are we doing for the next 4 seasons then, Lost? Like, you've made your point. Like, I don't understand where we're going.
We're doing really fun stuff, is what we're doing.
No, we're not. We're doing really painful and unnecessary things, but anyway.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so great.
It's really not. It's making me anxious just thinking about it.
We're not very good at not spoiling.
I know, it's hard.
I'm sorry if we're spoiling things for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not, really. It is really cute, though, when he wakes up and he, like, thinks they're saved. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's sad. Locke is putting together the 2 film reels of the orientation video. He asks Echo, what are the odds? The 2 of them crashed at different parts of the island, and yet they found each other to make a whole version of the video. Echo tells him not to mistake coincidence for fate. Kate leads Sawyer out of the hatch. It's not until he's outside that he finally accepts that they have indeed not been rescued. As they're sitting, they both see the same horse Kate saw earlier. Kate approaches and pets the horse before it walks away. When Sawyer asks her if she knows the horse, she says yes.
So the horse is real. It's really there.
Yep.
Kate's not imagining stuff.
Nope.
Saeed and Shannon both saw Walt. I'm just feeling like all crazy things are really, really there.
Yeah, like, is this a ghost horse that has come to protect Kate? It's weird. It's all weird. I don't know what to make of it.
I don't either. I can't connect this horse to anything. I don't know. See, like, the only thing I was going to think of was, like, the horse comes about when she's thinking of Wayne, but she's with the marshal in that second time, and the horse is what frees her, so...
Right.
Why would Wayne free her?
Exactly.
Like, the first sighting, she's getting food for Sawyer. The third sighting, she's with Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
But the second sighting is what doesn't fit, and the second sighting is, like, the most significant one, so...
Yeah, again, it would make so much more sense if that horse had saved her in some way on the island.
Yes.
But, nope.
But, alas. Here we are. Talking about animals again.
Yeah. Stop doing this, Lost. It's weird. I don't like it.
I've heard this theory about, like, animals and Sawyer, and I don't... Do you know what I'm talking about? Where, like, for some reason, Sawyer is always involved with any weird animals situation. Like the polar bear and the boar and this horse and the shark that like eats or bites him.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the significance of this theory was, but fun fact.
It's just a weird magnet for animals, I guess.
Yeah, he's got some sort of conflict with the animals here.
All right, I'll take it.
Oh, and it is really funny when he comes out of the hatch and he sees that they're still on the island. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. The way he delivers that line is always great.
It is great. I've missed Sawyer. He's been unconscious for too long. It's been like 3 episodes, and I'm like, I need some snarky comments ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be weird to hear him talking again.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Jack finds Ana Lucia sitting on the beach. He brought her the tequila part of a tequila and tonic. He figured she could use a drink. Ana Lucia asks him if he's going to try and convince her that everyone doesn't hate her. Jack replies, only if you're going to try and convince me that every woman in the world isn't crazy. Yeah, it's nice Jack is like reaching out to her.
It is. It is nice. We can't harass Sawyer about drinking the alcohol anymore though, okay?
Okay. I don't know about
Jack
that.
is handing it out. We're clearly not in that short supply.
How dare you bring that up in season 2, episode 9.
I have to bring it up, okay? Somebody on this podcast has to defend Sawyer.
I forgot
just
that
not
even
that bad.
happened. How dare you? Unacceptable. No, I get it. Maybe they found more alcohol in the hatch, so...
Oh, yeah. That's definitely what happened.
Yeah.
Not after Hurley's awesome party.
Yeah. In the hatch, Locke and Echo are watching the now repaired orientation video. When it gets to the missing part, the man in the lab coat tells the viewers not to attempt to use the computer to communicate with the outside world. It's strictly forbidden, and its only function is entering the code of numbers. It could even lead to another incident. In the computer room, Michael hears a beeping noise. When he goes to the computer, someone has typed hello. Michael responds. Another message comes asking, who is this? Michael responds with his name and asks the same question. A final message comes saying Dad. Michael looks shocked, and we, of course, cut to the credits. It's a pretty good cliffhanger.
Very good. It's really good.
Yeah. Especially when, after this episode originally aired, there's like a month-long break before the next one, so.
Oh, the pain.
I know. I feel like I remember the pain of this cliffhanger. Being like, no, we have to wait 6 weeks. No.
Yes. It's nice how those scenes kind of play together, and that Michael is not in the room with them when they're watching the tape.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he doesn't get this warning, which in my mind I always felt like he kind of did, and that he just ignored it, but
yeah,
he's not in the same room. He doesn't know that he shouldn't use the computer for communication.
Right, he doesn't hear that guy warn them about, causing another incident.
Yeah.
So.
It's weird that it works, though, because wasn't Locke just typing on it, like, when it wasn't in countdown mode, and he couldn't even type?
Yeah.
So, why does it work now?
Yeah, maybe because the other message came in first.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that makes sense.
Michael didn't just sit down and start typing.
Yeah. It's so cool.
So yeah, that's the episode.
That's the episode. What was your theme? I know you're feeling weird about it.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So, I came up with, I feel like this episode's really trying to say that people have both good and bad in them, and things aren't so black and white, which I feel like is such a broad theme, and that's kind of like a theme for Lost as a show in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was just thinking about it. when thinking about, Kate's backstory and, how her dad says she has murder in her heart, which is sad, but I mean, she was a victim in this situation, so was her mother. So, I don't know. And then it also made me think of when Jack was sharing a drink with Anna Lucia. And I know we talked last week about how she murdered Shannon, but, it was an accident. And she's actually done a lot of good deeds in her life and on her time on the island, not just murdering Shannon. So, yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Great. I'm glad it makes some sense.
No, it definitely does. I mean, you're right. That's a theme you could apply to so many of these situations.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to come up with something about what Echo says about coincidence and fate, but my brain didn't want to work that hard, so I just didn't go with that.
Well, I was focused on Kate and her conflict in this whole episode, and I felt like her conflict was this battle between her heart and her head. And obviously this is based on my interpretation of Kate's actions, and it does not fit with what you are saying or thinking.
No.
But I just feel like, like I said before, Kate's mother, Diane, loves Wayne even though he does really bad things, and she tries to love Sam instead, but she can't, and so she winds up back with Wayne. And I feel like Kate is seeing herself following that pattern, thinking she shouldn't love Sawyer, he's bad, so she's trying to force herself to be with Jack instead. And to make the choice that she wanted her mom to make when she was a child, because she shouldn't be with this person. So, yeah, prepare for Randy Rant.
I mean,
3, 2.
It's so interesting to me that you feel like Kate is forcing herself to love Jack because she thinks that is the right choice, the good choice. I mean, I guess I'm just really into their connection, so there's no forcing in my mind, but
I'm not saying she dislikes Jack or anything. I think she cares about him, and she's drawn to him too. But right now, and it could be you were saying in the last episode, her feelings are heightened because he's dying. It could be a lot of reasons, but I feel like right now she feels so many feelings for Sawyer, and she doesn't want that. She wants to feel them for Jack, because I think she sees that he's the good guy, and you're supposed to pick the good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree, but it's a surprise.
Yeah. It's really rare that I like a love triangle, and I think this one is good.
Do you?
I do. I do, because it makes sense for Kate to care about Jack. It makes sense for her to care about Sawyer.
Yeah.
I hate when they love some idiot jerk, which I guess some people see Sawyer that way, but, obviously I don't. And I don't like Jack, but I can see that, he's supposed to be, the good hero guy, and so, of course, she should love him. But, do you know what I mean? I feel like when they have two guys and one is the obvious choice, then it's so boring.
Yeah. It is interesting. I agree. I just wish they hadn't dragged it out for as long as they will drag it out. That's the part that frustrates me about their love triangle.
Gotcha.
It's making me angry when I think about it right now.
You gotta close that part of your mind. We're at the beginning.
It's fine.
But yeah, I think we've said all we can possibly say about these three at this point.
Should we wrap this episode up?
Yes, let's wrap it up and look forward to Conscious Sawyer next week.
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us this week. As always, please go over and rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes. Your reviews help other Lost fans find the show, so we really, really appreciate it. You can also find and support us on Patreon by donating $1 a month or whatever you can afford. Your donations will help us reach our first goal of doing Lost watching parties. You can also find us on Instagram at The Lost Podcast, on Facebook at Freckles and Blondie, and you can email us your opinions on this love triangle at frecklesandblondie@thelostpodcast.com.
Which we've already gotten plenty of opinions about it. Please send us yours.
Yeah, we'll never get tired of discussing these three.
Seriously won't. I will not.
Tune in next week when we'll be discussing episode 10, the 23rd Psalm, where we finally get to learn all about Echo.
Yay!
Until then, I'm Randy.
I'm Tiffany.
And this has been Freckles and Blondie.
Okay, so we wanted to include this little spoiler section after the music for anyone who has seen the entire run of Lost. So if you are following along with us episode by episode, you should turn off the podcast now. If you want to hear some spoilerific conversation that involves season 6, well then here is a little tidbit that came out of our discussion on Wayne speaking through Sawyer in this episode. This possession of Sawyer is very strange.
Yeah, it
And
is.
It's very hard to talk about. Because I want to talk about, like, season 6 stuff.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Here, maybe I'll just move this to the end and tell people that there's spoilers, okay?
Okay.
We've never done that before, but I feel like this is maybe the man in black possessing Sawyer because he's so close to death.
Oh, wow.
Is that even a possibility? Like, he's supposed to, like, take the bodies of people who are dead, but then, like, could he kind of infiltrate Sawyer's if he's, like, half dead?
Wow, I don't even know. Maybe.
I don't know either. I swear, every episode that something weird happens, I'm like, how does this fit with the Man in Black logic?
Yeah, I mean, the logic with the Man in Black is so crazy in and of itself, so...
Exactly, it's hard to, like, anything could be possible.
Yeah. Like, I have no argument against that, so...
Anyway, that's my hindsight theory.
Yeah, I like that theory better.